And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Today's fire danger forecast for Monday showing a lot of blue over the interior from the Arctic coast right on down to the North Gulf Coast and the Panhandle as well, with the cool wet conditions continuing. And on today's weather, we've got low pressure here approaching the southwest coast. That's pushing a front eastward here, bringing rain the entire day. Bristol Bay up across the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, on up to St. Lawrence Island, into the Kuskokwim Valley, and Kodiak Island, lifting northward slowly, north-northeastward into Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula this afternoon, with showers all the way up into the western Susitna Valley developing. Isolated to scattered showers along the North Gulf Coast. Cloudy skies, areas of scattered showers for the Panhandle today. This area of precipitation slowly moving off to the east-northeast with that low pressure area there. Otherwise, the Arctic coast mostly dry, although a lot of low clouds and fog out along the coastline, especially on the east side there this afternoon. And the Aleutians, pretty nice. Wind's not that bad, conditions dry. Low clouds and fog though. And for tonight, this low strengthens here from the 990 millibar low center. Actually, it's sort of the gradient tightens up as higher pressure develops out to the west. So it doesn't deepen, it actually becomes a little bit more intense here, especially on the west side with those north to northwest winds increasing. That'll bring gusty winds and rain back into Kodiak Island with this trough here. Rain changes to showers. Bristol Bay ends for the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians. Rain ends for Kodiak Island. Rain across south central Alaska into the Kuskokwim Valley, northward there towards Selawik into Buckland. Dry to the east and northeast of the system here. Lingering showers this evening, slowly diminishing and moving eastward as that whole system finally kicks out to the east-northeast there, and dry for the Panhandle. Then tomorrow, back to rain for the southeast coast, rain for the North Gulf Coast, and most of Alaska south of the Brooks Range. We'll see cloudy skies and at least probably a pretty good chance of some precipitation at some point in the day here across all of the interior, right on down to the North Gulf Coast. This system kicks into Bristol Bay with more rain and wind moving into there, with gale force winds in the forecast for Bristol Bay tomorrow and portions of the Alaska Peninsula. Winds diminishing back to the west, drier for the Pribilofs, as well as St. Lawrence Island, and dry for the North Slope on out to the Arctic coast. High pressure out here over the, or just south of the Aleutians, but extending up into the southern Bering Sea, shifts eastward on Tuesday ahead of a warm front, bringing some more moisture in out west there. A little disturbance here brings a little precipitation, but really not too significant here, keeping it off to the northwest there, so dry for the Pribilofs. Into the southwest interior, partly to mostly sunny. High pressure building in all the way up into the Noatak Valley. North Slope not looking bad. Arctic coast, light winds, low clouds and fog there at times in areas. And as this low center in the Gulf pushes eastward, it's going to begin to pull the winds around from the northwest here for south central Alaska, downsloping off the Alaska Range. So hopefully that'll definitely dry it out, maybe some sun breaks in the afternoon. Same thing for Kodiak Island, dry with diminishing winds in the Alaska Peninsula. And this low in the Gulf here, this sends surges of moisture into the southeast coast for continued wet conditions there, although drier down toward Dixon Entrance. Rain, Copper River Basin, rain and showers up over the Tanana Valley, right on up toward Fort Yukon. Otherwise, moving on to temperatures. Lows tonight, 30s for the Arctic coast, 40s in the Bering Sea, 40s and 50s elsewhere around the state. Highs tomorrow, 50s and 60s. That's about it, with the 60s over toward the east there and in the Yukon Flats. Not too bad. Southern Panhandle, 65 to 70 for the highs. And then for Tuesday morning, back into the 30s for the North Slope and the Arctic coast. 40s in the interior here, including the Bering Sea now, and 50s for the Panhandle. And Tuesday afternoon highs, not much change here. Pretty cool up here in the interior with highs mostly in the 50s, mid to upper 50s. Starting to warm up with more sunshine here, but still in the lower 60s here. Bristol Bay into the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta. Upper 50s for McGrath. Sleet Meat might hit 61. And well into the 60s with increasing sunshine, might even push 70 in the Susitna Valley if enough sun comes out in the afternoon. and 60s Kenai Peninsula, lower 60s for the Panhandle, 60 to 65 there for Kodiak Island.